I don't know where this mindset came from developers that, oh, let's just put it out and we can patch it later. As far back as I can remember, I've never encountered something like that. That's a good way to turn off a consumer base. You know what I mean? So what's up, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to my niece. She is a fantastic artist, and here's something that she's working on right now. It looks absolutely amazing. She is a DBZ fan, just like her uncle, and I couldn't be more proud. Malia, great job. So after Telltale shut its doors and filed for bankruptcy in 2018, we thought that was the end. We wouldn't see any conclusions to the wonderful stories that they were telling. However, in 2019, they were absorbed by LCG, and we get to see a continuation of the stories that we know and love, and new stories. And now, unfortunately, I mean, depending on how you look at it, they're delaying one of their most anticipated titles. But I have the article pulled up. Let's take a look, and we'll talk after. The Wolf Among Us 2 pushed to next year in an effort to avoid crunch. This is an article by IGN, and it says by LCG Entertainment, but they interview LCG in this, or the CEO, I believe is the CEO. Today, Telltale Games has announced that its long-awaited sequel to The Wolf Among Us is being pushed out of 2023 in an effort to avoid crunch and team burnout, as well as accommodate a move from Unreal Engine 4 to 5. Speaking to IGN, Telltale Games CEO Jamie Otterly explained that the team made the choice for a number of reasons, but primarily to avoid burnout or shipping in an unfinished game. Quote, making games is difficult and they need to be right, he said, and it doesn't do any of us any good to ship something that's not ready. Otterly explains that, like many other studios, the re-established Telltale Games has struggled with the challenges inherent to building a studio during the COVID-19 pandemic. After being following the shutdown, what? I don't know. We're just gonna read through this. After following the shutdown of the original Telltale unveiled the Wolf Among Us 2 at the Game Awards the following December. But the studio was still in its very early stages with the game in pre-production and explicitly not using any previously developed material. Yeah, I did read an article like that. They were starting from the ground up. If I remember correctly, they had already started the Wolf Among Us 2, but when, you know, the doors were shuttered at Telltale, they didn't use any of the material that they had already had with the last Telltale games. So obviously that's going to put more work on the developers in the new Telltale. And the new studio roughly 2 years away from being fully staffed. While at the time it made sense to announce early to help secure funding and support for the new initiative, Otterly admits that had he known then about other coming factors like the pandemic, he may not have made the same decision. Making games is difficult, and they need time to be right, and it doesn't do any of us any good to ship things that are not ready. Okay, I don't know why they did that again. Anyway, since then, he continues, the Wolf Among Us 2 has been proceeding well, but recently, Telltale made the decision to switch from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal 5. It's a move that Otterly says happened because Unreal 5 has a number of interesting features that many of his team, specifically engineers and artists, feel are worth the effort, but he admits that means redoing quite a bit of work that was already done in Unreal 4. With all that in mind, Otterly says there would have been only two ways to meet the 2023 release window. One option would have been to ship something unfinished, which is perhaps obviously off the table. Quote, if we put this game out and it's not ready, we're going to get torn to shreds, he says. This is very true. I don't know where this mindset came from developers that, oh, let's just put it out and we can patch it later. As far back as I can remember, I've never encountered something like that. That's a good way to turn off a consumer base. You know what I mean? So I don't know why that has been a thing recently. Quote, the expectations are pretty high and we want time to meet those, and we want to be proud of it and know that, hey, this is the best game we could have made, Let the world say what they will once it's done, but at least we know that in these times, in these conditions, this is the best game that we can make. The other option would be to crunch, a problem that reportedly plagued the original Telltale games before its shuttering. Oddly is adamant that their version of Telltale simply won't do it. Quote, "I've done crunch and I don't want to do it again, and it's not fair to ask it," he says. "You can plan a business around it. You can't plan a business around it. I am so sorry." So yeah, part of it is about maintaining a healthy work culture. We don't want to burn out our good people. It has been incredibly difficult to recruit the last 2 years between COVID and the labor markets and the growth in the games industry. So certainly, putting people out or grinding them down is the wrong thing to do long term. It's not how you build a business. And as an industry, we're terrible about it. We burn our people out. We burn our best people out faster. And as an industry, if we're going to continue to grow, we have to stop it. We just have to stop doing it and make better choices. Okay. The Wolf Among Us 2 will be an episodic release as its predecessor was, but unlike many former Telltale titles, it's being developed all at once. So when episode 1 hits, all other episodes will already be completed. It's now on the docket for 2024, but Telltale does have one major release this year, The Expanse, and I can't wait to play this, a Telltale series, which is making in partnership with Deck 9 Games. Okay, Telltale has also has a third unknown title in very early development. In the meantime, it's certainly worth going back and checking out the original Wolf Among Us, blah, 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 blah. I mean, no matter how you slice it, I believe this is the best way to go about it. This is absolutely a strategy. This is definitely a strategy for longevity. It's the best way to operate, and it's the best scenario for a healthy business model. And I'm sure the devs and the staff, all the staff working on these games with Telltale, I'm sure they appreciate it. But that's all I've got for you today. Really appreciate you guys stopping by. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like if you found it informative or you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to share it out. There should be another video popping up. In the meantime, keep it casual. Peace.